Hey there. Uh, Greetings from the balcony. Probably a weird place to be shooting a video. However, call me weird. Not that I'm not, but I actually like changing up the scenery every now and then. That's kind of like my gimmick. Although having the perfect white background or whatever would be a lot more professional. Do you know what I mean? But anyhow, just wanted to offer a few thoughts on the recent match that I've seen with Arm Wars. It was actually the Iron House this time. It was with Bogdan Stoica and with the Reacher, with Jordan from Australia. And first off, this match was spectacular. Props to both guys. Now, going into it, um, I can't even remember when, but I know that probably a year ago or something like this, I made a video about the match that didn't happen up until now. That was set to be between Bogdan and Ryan Bone. I'd have to look for the video on my channel just to see when that was. But anyhow, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I'll be referencing some ideas and thoughts from back then during the analysis of this one. So going into it, I knew that Bogdan will win. I was sure that he will win. I wasn't that sure it would be a tight match or vice versa. He would completely destroy or dominate Jordan, but I was absolutely sure he would win. I was expecting pretty much like a 4-2 or 5-1, something like this. So that being said, although I knew he would win, I was also rooting for Bogdan to win. Not just because he's co-national Romanian, right? So I was genuinely rooting for him, but at the same time, I resonate a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot with Jordan. Every time I'm thinking of my personal things with my body type, my height, my weight class, and overall body structure, composition. Very lean. Quite small muscle mass, kind of like the athletic, lean runner type of look, and with the drama of having to face people who are much stronger, much bigger, or even, let's say, weight-wise, they might be the same weight as you. However, they're much shorter, much more massive, bulky, compact. Their whole frame is just built for performance, whereas you, on the other hand, you look more like a basketball player. Every time I have these, I would say constant nagging thoughts and doubts on my mind, I always cling onto the image of Jordan, or let's say, there are a few others, but Jordan always comes up into my mind as being one of the guys with whom I resonate the most in terms of, well, obviously not performance with his miles and miles away, but just in terms of possible, who knows, one day, whatever, kind of scenarios. So from that point of view, I also was rooting for Jordan. I know it's kind of like a tricky situation where you're kind of hoping for both guys to do well. That being said, first 3 rounds, Jordan got pinned, and I would say flash pinned, and I know how it feels. I know how it feels during practice. I know how it feels during competition, and it sucks. I mean, it just gets the winds out of you. It's heavily emotionally impacting, I would say. Now, again, although I was really rooting for Bogdan to win, and I knew he would win, because I saw early on into the match that he would dominate, obviously I needed to also switch up inside just a little bit and root a little bit more for the underdog. So when in round 4 Jordan managed to get that beautiful pin, I was like, yes. Because again, although I know he will win, I mean Bogdan, and although I also hope he will win quite dominantly, still I want Jordan to go back home with something, not just complete pure devastation. And at the end of the day, I mean, that's you know, when the match is a little bit more balanced, it's good for the viewers, the spectators. It's good for the production. It's good for the guy who loses but doesn't lose to nothing. And it's also good for his competitor because, I mean, yeah, giving someone 6-0 is probably a wonderful feeling, but also it doesn't give you much in terms of feedback. So, having 1 or 2 rounds lost, I think it's usually very good in order to go back home and have something to think about. Like, okay, I'm stronger, I'm better, but still, I have to look at this and that, and just have them in mind for even possible future rematches with that same guy. Now, I just want to go a little bit back onto my video from like a few months ago or 1 year ago. I have no idea. I'd have to search on my channel about Ryan Bowen versus Bogdan Stoica. Now, I'm not sure actually what happened with that match. Was it canceled or just postponed or whatever? Not really sure. But back then, I remember very vividly that I was saying if that match were to happen, in my humble opinion, Ryan Bowen would also get beaten. Not because I'm fanboying for no reason, not because I'm co-national and I always want my national peers to be on top. None of that. It was just a pure objective analysis. And I said back then, I think I'm right. I'd have to revisit my video, but I think I said that with all the hard work and dedication that Ryan has put into, he is probably worthy of the match, but they're still in 2 different weight classes. And people don't really realize what it means to actually be a national champion in Europe. Now, you don't have to be on that whole East versus West thing, not the production, just the train of thought with Eastern versus Western pullers. But the thing is, I also made another video, I think, about this concept. When you're a national champion, whether it's US or Europe, and unfortunately, from this point of view, Australia is disadvantaged because they're much further away, much smaller, isolated. They don't have easy access to a lot of the other pullers so that they can gauge their strengths properly, and also to be able to evolve a little bit faster by having a more varied type of opponents, I would say. So back to what I wanted to say, when you're a national champion in Europe, that automatically qualifies you for the Europeans, and then if you get the podium again, that qualifies you for the Worlds. people know about this. Everyone knows about this, and they're like, yeah, big deal. Super math whiz. You get the podium, you go to the next level. Yes, but look at a fine detail in this. If you get a chance to be a national champion, and then you also manage to be a European champion, or let's say somewhere on the podium, or even better, you get the chance to go to the Worlds. Well, eventually the guys who win the Europeans and the guys who win the Worlds, they are the national champion from a few months ago. So each time you see a national champion, you should, in your mind, be looking at a guy who might be, or might not be, but might be the future European champion or vice champion or world's, world champion, or somewhere around that place, second or third, whatever. So for us to just say, whenever we see some national champion, yes, he's just some local champion. Yes and no. I mean, in the case of Bogdan, he might not be the best in the world, but he's really close. And one day, he might be. I think he can be. And that day might be closer than we think. And that being said, whether it's Bogdan or anyone else from Romania or anyone else from any other country, when you're a national champion and you've been consistently at this level for quite a few years, again, the guys in Australia, I think they are suffering from this, let's say, geographic isolation. And from that point of view, I thought, and it's still my belief, that Ryan Bone is not at that caliber yet. Nothing against the guy. I think he can also be amongst the top, cream of the crop. But with the way in which things have been going, especially now with the pandemics and so on and so forth, their evolution is a little bit stunned, I'm afraid. Not just with him, also with Jordan, also with Lachlan, also with everyone from that part of the world, right? So, can they become world's number one? Absolutely. Their genetic pool is insane. It's just that they're still not there, and in my opinion, they have to experience a lot more competitors, not just from the US, because everyone is going for the guys in the US. Not just flying over to whatever Las Vegas or Nevada or anyway LA or to Canada or whatever. They, in my opinion, should also pay a little bit more attention to what's happening in the East, because over here we have a different train of thought, I would say, a different mentality and a different way of pulling, a different way of training, a different onset in general. So without biting your teeth into some of the things that are happening over here, I think it's very unlikely for anyone, not just Ryan or Jordan or guys from Australia, just in general, like if someone from Asia or whatever emerges in the upcoming years, again, I think they would have a really difficult time just coming over here and smash everyone who everyone they face just because they're genetically superior, or they're just freakishly strong, or they have these enormous lifts in the gym or whatever. Different caliber of pulling. I really do appreciate what Ryan is doing for the sport, and actually with guys like Ryan, with guys like RBJ, although they're having their personal thing, with guys like Devin, with guys like Ryan, sorry, not Ryan, Ray, Coach Ray, and all these other guys, Uncle John and whatever, with all these guys who are bringing so much into the sport, I think the sport is evolving at a super high pace. However, as much as you're theorizing things by yourself and trying them in your home gym and then at practice, it's a whole different ball game when you're stepping on any competition stage, whether it's local or European or whatever. Having to face, tens of opponents and tens of matches in a competition that's filled with hundreds or even thousands of competitors, that's a whole different thing. You can't just be prepared for this one-on-one super match. There's this whole discussion about super match format versus tournaments and so on and so forth. I won't be getting into that. It's just that, yeah, sorry, long segue into the whole thing, but it's still my opinion that if Ryan would be facing Bogdan at this point or anywhere in the near future, the card would still be unbalanced. Mid-term or long-term, nobody knows. Everything can happen, right? Especially with the guys having an incredible evolution. But yeah, that being said, that was those were my thoughts on the Jordan-Bogdan match. And also, it kind of threw me back a little bit onto my prediction for Ryan versus Bogdan from quite a while back. Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, let's continue the general chat about such topics. But I'll need you guys to lean on me with something just to get the ball rolling. Okay. So yeah, till next time, me and my beautiful my beautiful closet scenery from back here are saying goodbye and have a nice day. See ya.